check, you will see there's another unit that has been published. And let me just do one correction here with this name. Yeah. So there's another unit that I for you, unit number, that's unit number 5. Right, and unit number 5, we're really looking at using instructional strategies to achieve 21st century learning. And that's pretty much what we're going to talk about today. And yes, we'll look at like student-centered versus teacher-centered approach, right? In terms of teaching strategies, right? We'll get a chance to also talk about different types of, or should I say, different examples of these strategies, and we'll look at a number of other things, right? As it relates to advantages and limitations, and hopefully we can have a good, engaging discussion there. So let me just share my screen. We're just gonna go over to Moodle and let's see what is there. It's, let me do one thing here before I share. All right. That's there. Okay, good. Hide. There we go. So this is unit number. Let's go. Oh, I just mentioned what I was saying to you for the unit number 4. I'd shared, yes, I'd uploaded 2 more activities. So these are the activities I would have uploaded. This one and co-pilot practice number 1, and then we have co-pilot practice number 2. I think number 1 is the lesson plan, and number 2 is the poem or song, right? So I think it's pretty interesting. So you can check that out if you're interested in that activity or those activities. All right, so unit number 5, looking at instructional strategies to achieve 21st century learning. All right, these are some of the handles, and then we have one activity. I'm going to share, there's another file I'm going to use when I'm going through Excel. I'll share that file with you a little later. You don't have to worry about that one. That's just the file I'm going to be using to demo. So that's different from that activity there. All right, so I'm going to jump into, I'm going to stop this share. I'm going to just jump into what we're going to talk about today, and then we segue from there. All right, yes, Harriet, thank you for that reminder. No problem, noted. All right, so let me just share my screen. We just look at what is on the course outline, and we jump into this discussion together. All right, so I always like to share with you what we're doing and where we are. So this is week 3, day 1, and we're looking once again at instructional strategies for 21st century learning. We're going to have a discussion on student-centered versus teacher-centered strategy, and we'll discuss some other things like even flipped classroom
Do you
approach,
snore when you
look at
sleep?
Microsoft Excel
No,
shortly as well.
I
All
do
right,
not.
so let's stop the share.
I don't
And
snore.
I'll just
Do you
segue
snore?
into
Not wrong if you snore,
that
but I
discussion
don't snore.
right now. Let's share again.
Hi. Armando.
Okay, so
Gonna go for
let's
the fingernail
discuss.
clip
We're
so
going
we
to be
can cut
looking at
these off
instructional
or cut them
strategies to
down.
achieve 21st century
They need to come off.
learning.
Peace out.
Right? And so, want to understand how to select and use appropriate learning strategies, technology, media, and materials. And this is coming from where we remember we're looking at the Assure model previously, right? And we talked
Hello.
about selecting right strategies,
I
technology,
go cut
media,
them out.
materials, and utilizing it and all that. But here we're gonna delve down a little bit now, more focus on the strategies, so to speak, but nonetheless, we still want to ensure, right, that the technology, the media, and the materials is a part of that to support, the strategies that we're going to be using, all right? So, and you can see some of these strategies already, right? Whether they be teacher or student-centered
Gonna
presentation,
start this.
demonstration, joint practice, discussion, cooperative learning, games, simulations, discovery, problem-based
Shakul,
learning,
yes, I remember.
right?
You
Or,
remember
or
that you're
problem
one of our
solving,
moderators.
right? Then we
So,
can
of
talk about
course,
some other things related to
I
the
do.
integration of technology and media materials, right? Such as the learning context and free and inexpensive materials and all of that, all right? So the question is asked, which instructional strategies support 21st century learning, right? We're going to be looking at that. So we're going to talk about the 21st century learning environment. Well, we've already looked at some of this already because we did talk about 21st century learners and the competencies for teachers and
Me now go
all of
answer
these
you
kind
every
of
time you
things.
come on
But
here.
we're going to see that
You
it's a
ask me
blend
which
or a
country are you
mixture of
from.
different strategies, right?
You're from
Okay. So
Kenya.
teacher-centered strategies. And these
Hello,
are pretty
Joseph.
much strategies that allow the teacher basically to direct, to share knowledge directly, right? It is more the teacher leading
Like
out, right? And so they're just mentioning building from their shore model that they utilize
every time
strategies,
you come, you
technology,
ask
media,
me.
and materials
I
stemming from their
remember.
shore. Because remember, it's
It's a lot of people come on here
ASS.
and say, man, remember
So this one,
everybody every time,
right?
but
Utilize. Okay. So
remember
just
most.
mentioning that. So teacher-centered strategies may include like presentations, right? One of the things that they're saying is that PowerPoint presentations can, be interactive, and it can be something that teachers can use to support their
Yeah, check.
basically their discussions or not discussion, but leading out in terms of PowerPoint presentation is usually something that supports that very well. Demonstrations too. They're saying, you can use demonstrations to be able to, for the teacher to lead out in showing something that the students can observe, right? And then in a lot of cases, you could demo something and then the students could follow
Coming
you
up
and all of that.
from,
All right. Talk
yeah, you're
about joint
from
practice
South
as
Africa.
well. This is when
2 down,
you use this when
8 to
students
go.
meet to review and practice information that they've learned. All right. Teacher would use interactive whiteboard, and in some cases, you have students may have clickers to be able to respond to different math problems and all of that. There's even software that can be utilized to support a lot of this kind of thing as well. For example, if you're doing, I mean, we already know you have websites, some of those massive open online courses sites, Khan Academy, Coursera, and edX, and all of these, right? A lot of these have different tools you can use. We have Duolingo, for example, if you're into languages, right? So there are many software out
Hello.
there that can support a number of
Yeah.
these different strategies.
Man, this thing I
So
try
there's
out.
also tutorials, and what they're saying is that, right, the teacher can also determine from different tests or quizzes, right, the students who have challenges, and so they can
That was
create
funny.
tutorials
Uganda,
for
okay,
students to
night.
be able to
It's
complete these, whether it be
2:20 here. I live
online
in the
or
future. You do live in the
etc. There
future.
are
Have a
even
good night.
sometimes
Sleep.
you can get immediate feedback, right?
Have a
And
good rest of your
a lot of
night.
times, guys, I'll just mention that even even our students with the use of technology tools and even software, you could be surprised, if allow them to spend some time, go through, and even getting that what we call personalized kind of attention and feedback from the software that they could even improve,
Where are you
right?
located?
Even beyond
In
what
Jamaica.
you ever expected, or
How
even
was your
you,
Monday?
I would say,
Has been so
surpass
far.
some
So
of those
today
students
I
who
had
were
work,
ahead.
but me
So
and my
don't
Envisine
underestimate the
students we went on a
power of
trip.
software to be able to
So
assist the
yeah,
school learners to
it was a
help
good
in
trip.
terms of personalized learning, customized learning, and all of that. All right, and you're just mentioning the whole fact that you want to engage in higher order thinking um, in terms of your strategies as well.
So
All
we
right.
went to two site
Yes, the
locations. We got
different
some
technologies that
oranges
are
and
out
other
there.
stuff. So
They're mentioning the good old
it was
PowerPoint,
a chill
there's
day.
clickers and videos, interactive whiteboards, um, smart boards. We have some, at least at NCU here as well. All right, software that you can utilize, podcasts, and yeah,
My
mentioned
God,
videos already.
bless
Okay,
the work of
so
your.
all of
May
these
God
could
bless
be
the work of your
integrated
hands there.
with
Thank
your
you.
teacher-centered strategy. All right. What they're saying is
What
that
time
like
is
for
it
your
in Jamaica?
student-centered strategies,
6:12 p.m.
these using the Assure model,
Smile.
once again, they're piggybacking on that. Using the Assure model, you would be basically using a lot
Capital
of
city of
this
Africa.
student-centered strategies within the what we call require learner participation. Because remember, you have the Assure is ASSURE, Assure. So this is the R step. And in this step, if you're using the Assure model, then of course student-centered strategy is coming here. So based on that, teachers would be more coach,
I
managers,
like your wings
allowing
there. Thank you.
students to be able to
May I try for you?
engage in learning through discussion, cooperative learning, right? Games, simulation, discovery, problem-based learning or problem solving. Did I say games? Okay. Or gamification. Yeah, so they're just mentioning that for discussion, right? Teachers can post questions online, like what we do on Moodle, right? And this is a good way to help students to learn about different topics, right? And cooperative learning now is when the teachers seek to increase students' learning by having them work cooperatively to research, share, to evaluate, to synthesize new content
How
into a
was your
good,
night? It's
right,
not just a
product
go start to
within
me
that group setting to
basically.
demonstrate
So
learning. And remember, these also have
your internet not
implications for
working?
some of the
Why
types
is
of
it showing that?
learning theories that we talked about before, right? So social
Why is
psychology,
it
group kind of a learning, right? So this is where the cooperative learning comes in. Okay. All right. So there's also games, and there are different ways to incorporate games. I I mean, there's a lot of tools
oh, my
out there
night will be
apart from
good. Are
like
you from
the
Jamaica?
testing tools.
Yes,
There are other
foot
tools out
Morocco.
there. Some of them are not
I'm from
free
Jamaica.
that you can
Where
actually
are you
create
from?
games or even allow your students to create games, right? And that trust me, that would be so interesting because I
I'm
remember
the
one of the
only
times
person
I
here. Yeah,
taught this
a lot of
course,
people just jump off
computer
a while
ethics,
ago.
right? That's the same. I
Where are you
show you the
from?
CD that I
Foot
created
Morocco.
there, but
Morocco.
I
Oh,
also remember
my bad.
asking them to create.
Like
There
that
was
was
a little
self-explanatory, but
project or something,
how is
asking
it
them to
there? What
create a
time is it
game,
over there in Morocco?
right, or an app. Okay, so that can teach computer ethics, and they were very excited about that. That has some principle of computer ethics in there. You give points for ethical behavior instead of you shooting somebody, because most of those games, video games and computer games that are out there, that's what they do these days, anyways, right? And they were very excited about that. So you can incorporate gaming in different ways. You could give it a little project, or if it's something you give it a class activity, like even not just games,
You
but
look
maybe
beautiful.
even
Thank
something
you.
as competitive, maybe like a school challenge quiz kind of a thing. Could call it game too because it's kind of competitive, and students like that kind of a thing. And sometimes it just changes the tone instead of having the
Nice.
same. It changes the monotony then, right? And so that's a good way to gamification is referred to incorporate that into your lesson. once again, still talking about student-centered approaches and their simulations as well, right? This is when the teacher recognizes that the students need to apply their knowledge or skill in a real-world situation. Right? There are different.
I'm cutting them
There's
off.
software that can
I'm
be
cutting
used
these off. They
in
are so
this
grown out.
scenario too.
You
You
see?
know that there
They are
are,
so
for
grown
example,
out.
VR
So
or
I'm cutting
other
them
headsets
off
you can use, right? That
while
kind
I'm
of
in class.
simulate certain environments or whatever,
So I'm
depending on what
multitasking.
you're trying to teach, right? I remember this concept too. One of my past colleagues was they were saying that
Y'all listen to me?
you could look at
You the
even
palm or something?
something like a Port Royal for a history class or
Oh,
something
me
like that,
think me dear myself.
right? Um, Looking at where Port Royal was or the parts of Port Royal that are maybe underneath
No, me
the
to me
ocean
hear
or
something. Me
something.
think I
For
did
example,
me.
when that earthquake came, it tore off a large part of Port Royal.
Are you
And so this is where you
married?
can use maybe a
Not yet.
simulation tool or VR tool or something like that to be able to
Not yet.
show what it used to be like
Next
or
year.
just something interesting. So simulations can be used even with VR and headsets and not just hardware
No,
but
we
even
don't.
some software tools that are out
No,
there
I did. Me I shouldn't.
depending
Me I
on
clip
what
them off.
you're looking at,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Then
So
grown out, you see?
yeah.
But it's
And
still
there's
on, you know?
discover as well. This is when the teacher wants to discover key concepts in order to instill deeper
I want
levels
to
of
ring. I want like to
understanding.
ring them up in there.
So what
But they're
happens
so grown
sometimes with
out, and I can
Discover
see.
too is that yes, this is a part of maybe the constructivist kind of approach, and you will see many times students may take a while sometimes to discover. Discovery takes time sometimes, and you may have a problem with that in terms of the time for that. So just bear that in mind. But it's there's what I call the beauty of discovery, as a student, because many times you're trying to, and sometimes it could be, you know, based on a group activity or just individual, but just to see students discover something, new, it's amazing. It's
Since the
amazing.
time I
So
have
that is
joined this
something
group,
that
I have not yet understood the
you can
program
think
of the
about as
chat.
well.
But
There's
I'm
also
Zori,
problem
my there.
solving,
Hello,
right?
Zori.
Problem solving.
So, on
A lot
here,
of times when teachers
we
want to challenge
study
students
together
into
right now. I'm in
thinking
class.
about
So,
what they
the
know and
whole
need to know
purpose of
about the
this was
topic,
for us to
they
like
can
come on
use problem
here,
solving.
guys, do your
And
assignments, do your
problem solving,
work,
I would add to
get some
that
admin work
in a
done while I'm
real
in
world
class, doing my work, doing
context
my assignments.
is
We
very
also show
invaluable,
lifestyle
right?
content,
Depending on,
health
once again, your
content.
subject area, but at
Um,
least you can see, for example, we
I'm
know
going
that we
to
have
make some
many
organic
problems
mouthwash and stuff
around us.
soon, so I'll be
And
on
one of the
live doing
things I
that.
like to
So
challenge
it's
my
just a
students
whole
to do is to look
family
at
vibe type
real
thing.
world issues. So I have like a class, human computer interaction, right? Where they look at, okay, so how can I create a product that can be meaningful? We've had several different smart, whether it be a
How
smart
are you doing?
bottle or
I'm
a
doing
smart
okay.
shoes or
How are you doing?
smart, smart everything, right? That can basically help to solve some problems out there. And I realize that students appreciate this because it gives them a chance to research too. Because I always, you know, tell them that okay, innovation. I mean, I give them mark for innovation as well. So they have to go and research. Is this something that currently exists? Um, if the solution currently exists, how is your solution different? It helps them to think critically as well about existing problems and also existing solutions and see how they can create something new, but something that is still meaningful to be able to solve some human need, right? So it's always good to allow your students to explore, to allow to discover, to even have that competitive environment using gaming, or once again, problem solving. You're still getting the higher order um,
That
kind of
was a huge
cognitive,
one.
right, in there because it's very important for them to think critically as well. All right, so they're just looking at some of the characteristics of some of the things in terms of strategies we mentioned. So things like,
You didn't answer my question.
advantages,
So we can
limitations,
create our
and so on.
special bolt.
They're
I'm a
just
plain
mentioning here
Jamaican boy.
that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
presentation provides information
Ask
to
me.
learners. All right, and it's a medium
Sure.
that provides information um, via the teacher. You could even utilize textbooks and the internet, audio, embedded audio, video, etc. And depending on how you do your presentation, too, you could involve different learning activities that includes the students' peers and all of that, right? So it can be interactive, it can be creative. It doesn't have to just be maybe just a monologue or something. Um, the advantages they're saying here is that you present once, you could present many times too. The option is there for note taking, and right there's you can provide information sources at the end, and you could also involve students, right? Allow students to create the presentations, okay, as well, and share that. So there are many
They're
different ways you
coming
could, because
down.
even though yes, we look typically at presentations as a student, I mean as a teacher centered approach, you could also make it into student presentations where it would be more of a student centered approach. You get what I'm saying? So traditionally is that way, but if we use what we call the flipped classroom approach, then it will be the students that are doing the presentations in this case. And by the way, when talking about the flipped classroom approach too, one of the things that I find, especially going back to use of videos and podcasts and just having all of those resources, you publish them ahead of time, right? And allow the students to read through those information, look at the videos. And if you want to make sure they watch it, you can utilize Edpuzzle, right, to enable them to watch that video. And then in the class sessions, you focus more on activities, right? So give a lot of practice activities or reinforcement activities or whatever. So it's more about the students. It's more student centered. It's more interesting than just coming to, you know, to listen to a presentation per se. So
Oh,
one of some of the limitations they're mentioning here, Smaldina, Luther, and Russell, is that it may be challenging
that's one.
for some students, depending, learning styles may be different. Some people would consider boring to just listen to our presentation, etc. And you have to also look at the age appropriateness of that as well. Because what they're saying is that without interaction, a presentation can be boring. So it is important to include ways to keep students interactive through questions and answers, check sheets, and all of that. They're also saying that note taking can be a challenge because students may need to learn how to take notes depending on the level to benefit from that presentation. All right. So one solution is to provide a partially completed note sheet or some kind of handout, right, to assist students with their note-taking skills. And they were saying before, difficult for some students because not all students respond well to presentation format. Right. Once again, it goes back to learning styles and preferences and so on. So this is something that you can think about. Yeah, some students will say it's boring. This is a big one. All right, the boring part. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me what do you do to spice up your presentations. Let me see. Joylyn, I see your hand. Yes. Go ahead with your comment or question.
Hi, good afternoon, sir. Not able to log into the attendance.
Okay.
It's telling
All
me
right.
to sign in, and then it's not giving me the account, the email to sign into.
Yeah, no problem. That's fine. That's
Ooh.
noted. All right. So you're good to go, Alan.
Sir, to spice up the presentations, I sometimes use Canva AI, create my own website, and do some interactive activities. That's what I tend to do sometimes.
Okay, nice. I like that, Kristen. That sounds powerful. Appreciate it. All right, Serenice. Yes, go ahead with your comment or question.
To spice up my presentation,
BRB.
I do a lot of role plays, songs, poems, and discussions. So whenever I make a point or try to explain, I'll ask the students first what they think. I'll sometimes, even today, I did like a catchy phrase and I wrote something on the board. Then I asked them, what comes to mind when you see this and stuff like that. So I try to get them interactive.
I like that. Thank you. Appreciate that too. All right. Yeah, all of those are interesting things. To the chat here to see if there's any comment.
Hi.
I see
Fast DNA
registered
and football
noted.
skill we can make it. Oh please.
Kia is
Thank you,
saying
my
we add
dear, for a
questions,
good
videos,
time.
and
You're
songs.
like my timekeeper.
Nice sounds.
No
Sounds
problem,
are
you're
very
welcome.
powerful though.
Hi, Philip.
Sounds
Hi,
are very,
Shed
and music
Rock.
in general can add some,
Hi.
yeah, it
Hola,
adds a
Linda,
lot
¿cómo
to
estás?
your presentation.
Hola,
And if you incorporate the students, maybe ask them to
Lindo.
create a song based on
Estoy bien,
some content
gracias.
that
¿Y
you
tú?
share, or even, maybe you have
Hi, Tremar.
saw this
Welcome.
once like a bingo or
Hi, hi,
some kind
hi.
of way for them to, like, once you're going through the information, they're more, enthused about kind of listening keenly or looking at your slide because they want to fill out that, that sheet that I have there. But yeah, there are many different ways that you can, as I said, spice up, right, your presentation and make it more
How
interesting.
was your day today?
Um,
My day
yeah.
was
So
pretty
I thank
chill.
you for
I
sharing. I
had
see
a
also
field trip
Natalie and
today with
O'Shane
my
and Blessing.
students, so we went
Yes, go
out
ahead in that order, please.
and
Okay, so Mr.
got
Tuma,
some
what I
stuff
used
done.
to spice up my class, as you said,
So we
I do
visited a
various things
coffee
like practically
making
everything.
industry,
I use like virtual
a
reality.
coffee factory like, and then we visited like a small farm, not really small. It's like 12 acres.
I let them
So,
use the AI site for
you
music
know,
and lyrics.
yeah.
And also, one of the more
So today
interesting
was pretty
things that
chill.
sometimes
Now I'm
I
in
love to do
class. I drank some
is
chicken soup because I was sick for the whole
um,
weekend.
the
Drank some chicken soup.
the
Now chicken
movement
foot soup. Now I am
and
in
something
class.
that
I'm going to do
surprising,
an
I allow them
assignment
to become a teacher
that I have
and be
due.
exchanging poetry.
Yeah, and that should be it for today. How about you? How was your day? I cut them down and I only have like 7 left to fall off. Great adventure mixed selected education, yeah,
I do got it from different places, so I use
definitely.
AI as well. But for like images, because I teach in Asia, they are kind of very interested when they see things from other countries. So I would probably use like images of black person or like popular black person. Like for the guys, boys, they would like to see like LeBron James, Steph Curry. So that kind of get them a bit interested in the lesson. So also one of the big things is girl versus boy. Sometimes it comes to kind of use images more
Mm,
as management to see who better or
trying to see if like this one can come off as well. Yes, that's two. It's probably just these two and these single, no, these single. These ones are persistent. Did hot, but it there, but okay. Today, it's hot, especially when we're going at the morning part up. It was very cool and chill. But and at the evening, like the 12, 1, 2 o'clock, sun start pelt them time there. Sun get up, out and out with a vengeance. And next one is that's five. Five to go. Mommy, how you feel? You want one halts?
classes.
In a my bag.
So the big N, give them all the stuff. My auntie give them like big stuff. Cause
Hi.
I think others will come and look at what we are doing. Some other
Eh?
classes and they look and they does it.
Alright, me I can't get now.
Absolutely not. That's
My
a good
mommy,
question.
she got my flu. I tell her
That's a good question.
them nails they cut neat. Yeah, me remember they did long, so you know. I me cut them down to this, so I try to like take them off. Five gone, five to go.
Information that I gave every single person the class participate. So like you could use your random call
I
card
give your mom flu.
and you
It
can
looks so because
call
me tell her say
get every single
sleep in your own bed, top drink half of the juice them when me I
everybody
drink and she still a
get
drink after I juice them.
that much things where every
She
single
still a
person
sleep in my bed.
participate
Today we went
participate and have fun.
9,055
You get
steps.
some random questions.
That's great.
Write down some
So I'm gonna
questions,
take this
call
off
them out.
because
So I don't want
we
for them to talk
slayed
big talk,
today.
big talk, but keep the quiet ones and try to get the information as well.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. So yeah, that's cool. Pretty cool. Trying to get everybody involved. That's good to hear. Some friends are kind of shy, so but you want to speak up. Yeah, that's a good approach. I appreciate that. So let me go to the chat and see if there's any more comments. Nadine, you were saying catchy song.
Mother will always be my
Okay.
always. I'm like,
Use my
girl, go
call.
on
Okay,
your
I'm gonna put
bed.
Melissa in for you ready
And
soon.
she's sticking on my bed and now she's
Christina
sick.
is saying
She
word
thought,
mom
well, no, me
by
not go sick. Me
worksheets.
I
Okay.
drink up my turmeric and
And Anne Marie is saying use
sick
songs
like a
and
one.
drama. All right, great. So yeah, there are lots of different techniques that you use, and I appreciate you sharing with us. I know you have a lot of experience. There is a lot of experience, valuable experience um, here
Yeah,
in
around
this
here,
platform.
don't
So thank you for sharing that. And yeah, there are also
know.
different
Guys, we're almost at
strategies
750
and some of the
subscribers. If you're new here,
meditation and affirmations.
you haven't subbed.
So usually this is
Two
something
away
that we can do to
from 750.
show them
Now you
something
have to ensure she
positive
gets
about
better though.
themselves.
Definitely.
So demonstration. So if you're cooking, for example, you have a cooking class or this agriculture, you're planting something and you want to do it, and then they also
Definitely.
they can also practice.
BRB.
The strategies they're saying is that you
Be
see
right back.
something before you do it. You see how it's done, who did it. All right. So the whole idea of guide, like providing guidance, etc. They're just also mentioning here that in terms of the supplies, this is only a limited number of supplies are necessary because not everyone will be handling all materials. I guess depending on what you're doing, that could be the case. So this is something like maybe with you're cooking or you're doing something like with
Testing me.
agriculture or with camping or something like that. All right. They also talk
Oh,
about
help me,
safety.
Lord.
Mention
Charles,
about
welcome
controlling
back.
danger. Students will
Welcome
use
back.
caustic materials or
Welcome
dangerous equipment.
back.
So that makes sense. We see, once again, we
Lord,
have different protocols, different subject areas
or
that
probably
you're
like just go over these with
expert in
I
or
don't know.
you're expert in. So the limitation to mention that students do not get direct hands-on experience unless they are following along. So like if you have a demonstration where you are doing a step-by-step thing and then the students are following as you demo. It takes more time and sometimes the challenge I think at least for me when that is the individual you need more time because to cater to individual challenges and issues if you're going to do it that way to be able to allow your students to follow along mentioned limited view in the sense that every student may not have an equal view of demonstration. So if it's like a large class and everybody gathers around the teacher to see what the teacher is doing, kind of a thing, right? But like in this setting now, virtually, uh, well, if we're online like we are now, I don't think there is a problem with seeing because you are basically all should be seeing my screen unless there's a challenge otherwise, right, on your side. They're just mentioning non-flexible pacing. It says that all students may be able to follow
This
the
one is
demonstration pace
clear.
or the pace of the demonstration, right? Recording the procedure on video will allow. Okay, so this is for maybe, as I said, a more face-to-face kind of a situation that they're mentioning here, where you
Four
have
left.
too many persons you're trying to share this information with, and there's a challenge with pace or viewing, etc. But in this online environment, it's probably easier to show. Oops, it's probably easier to show where
Let me go and do
of course, they're mentioning that you can
this
incorporate
next
using
assignment.
cameras and other recording
Meanwhile,
video
I'm dip
and
on the
all of
castle
that
because I
to
want to
make
just
it more, I guess,
enjoy my night.
viewable and viewable. All right. Talking about drill and practice as well, in terms of characteristics, advantages, and so on. Okay. They're saying that this increases fluency and usually you do this when you want students to practice something, like as I said, maybe language, math, etc. The advantages they're saying is corrective feedback. Students receive feedback on the responses. Information chunking. The information presented in small chunks, allowing students to review the material in small bits.
Summary teaching
And there is
method.
built-in practice. Practice
Okay,
is
so
built
let's
into the small chunks of information,
clean
giving
for
immediate opportunities to try out the new knowledge in some
should be
something.
300 words.
Right? You're just mentioning some of the limitations here, like repetitiveness and potentially boring. Yeah, some students will find anything at all boring, so I don't know. But
Hello,
they're saying that not all students respond well
Dominic.
to the repetitive nature of drill and practice. It's important to limit the time spent on
Hi,
number of exercises to prevent monotony. Right?
Giovanello.
The potential for being boring.
Giovanello.
Some drill and practice materials have too many items, which can lead to boredom. A solution is to review the content and only assign material that is relevant. Right? Non-adaptive. If a
Silent.
student is making repeated errors,
Enjoy
continued
the
use of
teacher.
drill and practice material does not
It's
help the
not an
student
easy task,
learn.
especially one that's studying and teaching at the
It
same
says
time.
keep track of student progress and use a different
It's not.
intervention if learning does need
It's not,
improvement.
darling. It's not.
Right? So there are some other tips for the drill and practice. And for tutorials now,
Hello.
they're just listing some of their characteristics. It can be
Guys, if
done
you're new here,
independently or
ensure
one
that you're
one to one kind of a tutorial.
subscribed.
Chunks of
At
information,
7:49, we're
kind of
almost at
bite-sized chunks.
7:50. We
But the
have
advantages they're saying
roughly
here
2 hours of class left
is
to
that
go.
students can work independently on new material and receive feedback about their progresses. And there are many tools out
I
there that
can't
can be
wait
utilized,
till I can buy a
including
camera
AI.
so I
Sorry,
can
not
like
to mention it,
vlog and do all of that
including
stuff.
AI.
Like,
So,
I love
and
content creation.
these
I'm so
can be used to
excited
help them
for us to
not
get to that
just with
phase.
independent work or
But one thing
personal
I
design,
decided
but
to do
even
is that
self-paced too.
I'm not going to be
So
the
that's the
person to like just
goal
get
of
up and
computing
buy certain
tools
stuff that I need for
and
content
AI.
creation. I want like the money that I make
Limitation,
from
they're saying
this
they're watching this
be put back
boring.
into
I
like an
don't know.
investment. You get
I
what I'm saying?
guess, yeah, students
So
find a
not
lot of things
necessarily
boring or
like,
everything boring that they're not interested in
oh,
really. Uh,
I'm gonna take out
but
like
they're saying that repetition can become
400 to
boring if the material
$500.
follows a single pattern
What good knows
that
that
lacks
one get.
variation.
And
The frustration part, students can
US
become
like
frustrated if they do not
1,000 to,
seem to be making progress
well,
while working
400
on the
to
tutorial.
500
Right?
US.
Uh, hmm.
to
But
1,500
actual lack of
US
guidance too. The lack of teachers'
now.
guidance
So
can mean that a
hopefully,
student does not move
when we
through
get
the material
monetized and
effectively.
everything,
Right? So you must
then
carefully select and provide
whatever
adequate
I make
support
from here will be
to
turning around,
assist
so I
students
can get my
with
camera, my
this
proper
very
setup,
easy tutorials.
doing my office or studio,
So there are
and
a
just
number of
getting
different
those
integration
things
like
done.
software as was mentioned before. There's
But I'm
Auth.
excited to
There's even
create
video,
vlogs for you
right? That you
guys
can utilize
and just
as we
make
see
content for you
certain
all. I'll
tools
pull up my
in
hair as
Post-Grad.
well.
You can use videos
Just my
and
hair.
walk them through. Are they watching the thing? You can see if they watch it. And the good thing I
So
like
I
about
am
Post-Grad, I
in
don't know if you
class at the
realize this,
moment. I'm
if you
literally
go
on an
off
assignment
the
while I'm in class,
page,
while
the
I'm
video stops,
doing this. I'm just really
right? It's like
trying
the video will
to
not
make it out the
continue to
gutter for
play
real.
or play while you're. So
And
if a
these days,
student
even
want to
though
probably say, oh, I'm just
we
gonna
literally
multitask,
have
I'm just
six
gonna play the
persons
video,
on here,
even though they know the
with
questions
six
aren't very clear
persons
and they're
that
like, no, but it's not
I
gonna
didn't have
allow
to
you
take
to
the
do that.
time to be on here.
So that's a
So
good.
I'm taking it
I
all
think that's a good thing because
seriously.
it wants to make
I
sure.
appreciate.
Let me see, limitations. Or did it put here that it's saying it can be?
Thanks,
Did it put here that it's saying it
thanks,
can be
thanks.
a way to bring new ideas, right, to information that
Open,
is being shared or
um,
presented. But the
okay.
limitations you're saying is that it has a potential for
True, me
limited
agree with it.
participation because not all
Tremor.
students participate.
I know that for um,
They're just mentioning that the teacher should make sure that everyone have a chance to talk. I guess this is in like the classroom setting where you're actually asking them to speak orally for this particular discussion topic. You're saying sometimes what on
yeah,
change
and
material so that they don't
especially if you want a
learn
life for
beyond
yourself,
what
people
they
might not
already know, and
see
that's a
how it
challenge
might
to
happen.
extend
They
their
might not
knowledge.
understand
They
your
talk about the
dreams or your
difficult
goals,
level
etc. But it's, go out
lesson to
there
learn.
done.
It's too difficult for the
Most of the
students,
time, we tell people
right?
certain things that we want for
Enter
ourselves,
that
and then feel like
and
it's
they
too
don't
much,
recognize
or
it.
it is
They have to
unattainable, or
make
it's
an effective
unrealistic. I'm
strategy
like,
with younger students.
not because you're limiting
So
yourself
it
means that I have to
tends to
limit myself. I believe the world is my oyster,
all right.
and
Also talk about
God don't want
cooperative
me to have a
learning
limited
here in
mindset. Like, I'm
terms
literally
of
the daughter of a
once
king,
again how it can be
so why would I
facilitated. Small
limit
groups allow more
myself
informal.
and not try
Sorry,
to get the life that I
and
want for myself? Why would I
speak
not
conditions in
try and get multiple streams of
right as
income?
well.
You got what I'm saying?
You can
Like,
have individual role
why would I
within
not
this cooperative
try?
learning setting, right?
Nothing beats trying.
And different kind of
When has it
skills,
been
whether
not
it's
cool to
interpersonal
try?
leadership,
ASAP
reflection,
Rocky said that.
all of that being incorporated there, right? But the advantages and limitations now they're mentioning here, learning benefits,
Yeah. I'm
and
like,
that means
so,
mixing the ability
and the thing is that because they not
levels
see
of
certain
student
people achieve it,
with
or they
that
not
group
see it
leads to learning
being
benefits as well.
achieved around them, then things say
Informal
it's
or
unachievable or it's
versus
unattainable.
formal.
And me not
Some
like that
groups
limited
can be
mindset or
formal or
them
informal.
understand. You tell them a
Uses of the
business
learning
idea, they might tell
environments.
about 50 different people we go bad
Right, and
with.
they're also talking
And I'm
about
like,
learning
that don't mean that
opportunity.
gonna be my outcome. It's a
Long-term
possible
groups
outcome, but
can
that don't mean it's gonna
develop
be my
creating
outcome. You
multiple
get me? I say?
learning
Like, they
opportunities,
not encourage you, they discourage you
and
before they
cooperative
encourage
learning
you.
can be used
And then
within
when
all content
things
areas.
start turn up for you now, at the time
Limitations, though, is that the
them be
skill
like,
size
oh,
limitation, groups need to
you know,
become small to
they
ensure
want to
all
reap the benefit
participation.
of
Because one of the
it.
things you do know sometimes, you give a group activity, and some students will do most of the work, and then other students wouldn't be able to participate
Exactly.
or
Yeah.
participate.
That's why
So
my if you should sit and listen to me and you hear
cooperative
my
learning kind of
goals and my
activities,
visions
you have to
and
monitor
the
that
things that
carefully.
I want
How
myself,
involved
not
the
only
group there in cooperative
materialistically but
learning? What
just
are some of the
overall.
strategies you do to
I don't
ensure
have the
everybody or to get persons
mindset
to
of a typical
participate?
23-year-old,
How
and
do you
that's
use
okay.
the individual role
That's okay.
part of the team
I'm okay with that.
accountability
I'm okay with being the odd
we
one
all need
out.
ensure accountability,
I'm
all need
okay
ensure that
with,
everybody
you know,
participate and do their
and I
part
think we
in
must be okay
the
with people
activity,
that have them
whatever
opinion, let them have
their
them
strategy.
opinion. Whether
So
you
it's
do good or
always
bad, you
good
can't
and
please
set
people.
as
Trust me.
well.
Okay, so one of the things
Whether
that
you
I
do
do
great,
is I
you give
allow
them your
for
loss,
students to
you
present
cannot please people.
on
At the
certain
minute,
topics. So let's say
you know,
I
do
assign
for them
certain
what they want you to do, they're
each
the
student
worst.
to
And if you
present
got the
on a
billion
certain
times
topic.
when you always are do good for them.
However, the
So you
entire
can never
class needs to
please people.
familiarize themselves with
So
that
just do
same
you.
topic.
Once you know
So
say
when
I
a
do it from a
student is
genuine place,
presenting,
this one more
well,
needs
he or
come off.
she needs to
Once you know say I do it
at
from a
the end of the
genuine place,
presentation
you not hurt
create
nobody,
or develop at
you not
least two
intentionally hurt
questions
nobody,
that
you
are
not,
um,
you know,
two questions
be
that
mean
are
to people,
either
you
knowledge
not step over
based
others to
or
get where you want to go.
application.
Do it.
And then the other students,
Go
so
out there.
that the presenter will have
Get
to
a
develop
gold. Like,
two questions that either application or knowledge based. And then the other students of the class, each
as
student
long as you be
in the
yourself,
class would
everything's
need to
okay.
answer
People
at
can't
least one
please
of
you.
those
Yeah.
questions.
Enough people free
Okay.
to be themselves. Enough
Okay.
people
Sounds like
I put
a
on a
very,
facade and a mask and I try to be
we
other
call it
people. Them imitate other people
it allows
personality.
persons to be able to
Like
be
I'm a chill
accountable, as you said.
person. Me not go
So
come on here
that's a very good one.
and behave
All
extra.
right,
I
appreciate
have
that.
my days when I'm extra,
Anybody
you know.
else? Let me just go to the
I have
chat
my
in the
days
meantime.
when me laugh loud
All
and go
right.
along with my
Yes, we
antics.
said here.
But there's certain
Yes, go
things
ahead.
me just nah go do
Yes,
because me see it a
obviously,
work for somebody else. Me say, oh me
if
go do
I'm
that. Me
given
go
my group
change
work
who I am.
and there are four persons to lead
So,
the group,
you know,
I try to have at least four
can't
components
do that.
because
Be
each
yourself. Be
student has
authentic.
to present on one of the
Authentic you.
components. So everybody has to participate and
This
everybody
hand
has to
is
do something.
free. Now it's over here.
Okay. Okay.
Have two
Nice.
left over
I
here.
like that. I appreciate that so much. I see. I'm gonna read. I see. Natalie. Yes, you can.
Okay, so for for the whole fact that students are able to work all together within a
Yeah.
group, what I do is
Yeah.
to give them a peer review. So it
Okay.
is very anonymous. The student is say, oh, it's my friend. So let me give that, for example, mark. So even though they're working together, they're evaluating each person within
One
the group.
left.
So they
That's
will
this
give me
one.
that
Let's see if this
peer
one will
review
come off.
form without
I don't want
with
to go to work
ratings
tomorrow
of
with
Okay.
themselves and
not
person
even
within
half
each
a nail,
person
like
within the
quarter
group.
nail on my finger.
So nobody
Okay.
knows how
Mm-mm.
much the tally would be when I finish. So I always recommend that if they have group, I'm always there to listen to what they're saying and
Yeah.
and encourage them that this is a group effort, but they need to able to share and work together. And if there's any difficulties, they go to the team leader within the group. If the team leader can't help them in teaching, that's when they will come to me before they give any other group member a low grade for the peer review.
Okay. That's a good one. Peer review, and also the whole idea of managing, conflicts and issues. I find that can be a challenge sometimes in groups. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. All right, I
Where are
see
you
your hand.
from?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes,
I'm
thank you,
from
sir. And say, for
Jamaica.
instance, you are teaching a mathematical, because in agricultural science, you have several mathematical concepts to teach, and
Yes.
students may find difficult. So, shall say you're teaching about the law of diminishing returns, which requires graphs and so on. And you teach that first as a whole class activity. You give the activity and you render a grade. You would find out that, say, you have 30 and
I'm
maybe about 10 of
so
them you find 10 of them mastering the concept and the others did not master it. Then what you do is after that first assessment,
now come
second
off.
class,
It
you
now
go
come
at the
off.
groups distributing the ones that do, the ones that did not get it right,
Yay! We're
ensuring,
at 750.
mixability.
We are
Yeah.
Then
250
I
subs away
reteach
from
the concept and I allow those who
watching me from
know
South
to
Africa.
try to
Hi
pair
Theo.
it, pair with
Lovely
who
to have you
don't know and
here.
who don't understand.
We
So the
are
second part now,
trying to get
everybody,
these
like a person
clouds
who
off.
understands is put with
After
somebody
I
who
get them
don't
off,
understand, give the activity again,
I
and
made
I
them
go
assignment.
through and monitor the crew to ensure that each person is getting to a weak person is being
So you
covered
know say
with the
Android there.
stronger one and monitor that group. Because the thing about it, we want to ensure that you cannot move on to another class until the 30 of them get it. So that is the strategy, to go around to make sure that each of them may understand this difficult concept you are
When will
teaching.
you be live
Yeah.
again? Tomorrow,
Absolutely.
same time.
Yeah. I appreciate those
So,
strategies.
what time is
And
it over there
just looking
now?
at the chat
Whatever
here,
time is it over there now, I
I
am
see
live
Anna
an
Reader
hour
saying
before
assign
that.
each individual a
So I come on
target
live
and keep it
5:40 my time. So,
define goal within the entire development of the
yeah.
activity or
Get
presentation.
everything.
Okay, that's also an interesting way to do it. Nadine says everyone gets a paragraph to read and give feedback from what they read. And okay, so you're just agreeing. Yeah, but there are many different, you know, many different ways, I guess, to
So I'm
be
live
able to ensure
every Monday to
accountability,
Thursday for
ensure
sure.
group
And
cohesion,
then
manage conflict,
Saturdays
and
sometimes and
ensure here that
Sundays.
the objective
It's
is ultimately
1:54 a.m. So I would come on
achieved,
live at
right? And students
12:40
understand the real
a.m.
world
your
implication
time.
for working within a
So
team,
around 12:40
because sometimes I think at some
because I get
point
off.
they will get
I
it,
get from
you know,
work at
that in
3,
the real world you have to work with
right?
people, and so
And then I'm not leaving work
to
till about
only do
like
that in a professional
3:30.
way. Once again, it depends on the age group and different levels and maturity and all that. So,
I'm not leaving work
for
till
sure.
like 3:30.
All right, so we're gonna
Then I
move
have to go
forward.
on the road,
Look
get
at
some
Tina's.
stuff.
And I know I could have
Right.
asked you some of the tools that you use. Maybe that would
And then
be
I
a
am
question
home
here.
by
What are some
like
of the tools that you
4:30,
use? What
5
are the
o'clock.
gamification
I
tools that you
teach.
guys use
So
in your
get from work
classroom
4:30,
if
5
you do
o'clock, freshen up,
games?
eat,
I know everybody's
and then
probably not,
class at 5:30.
into
They're
games,
going to
but
keep devotion
anybody
and stuff, which usually
want to share what are some of the
entails like,
gamification tools
you
you
know,
use in your
music and so forth. So
classroom
I don't
software?
come on live when the
How do you
devotion are going because I'm in like
games?
copyright.
And
So
how
I
do you
come on live
manage that
like at
process too? Because
5:40.
it can become very very
Yeah, they're
competitive, and
all.
sometimes it can, yeah, get out of
I
hand.
have to go clean them off.
Amika is
I
here,
have
and
one nail
yes, go
hard
ahead, please.
nothing. I go get one coat of it.
Good evening, everyone. Um,
Cut them.
in
Sorry
regards
about
to
that. My phone
games,
is
I
misbehaving.
find that
That's okay.
my students really enjoy games. Um, I mostly use Jeopardy, which is their favorite, and
What
also
subjects do you teach? I
I
teach
use
environmental
the
science and
visual
I teach
simulations because
agricultural
I teach
science.
science.
So both
What
of the
I try
sciences.
to do is lay the ground rules first in terms of how they will speak to their competitors, how they speak amongst themselves in groups, allowing each member from the group to be able to choose a question for the entire group or answer. Um,
Hi.
and I also try to
Finally.
motivate them with giving them extra credit. So even if their group isn't the group that comes out on top or comes out winning, there's some form of extra credit for them to keep them motivated to continue learning and all of that stuff. So
And
I
let
try
me
to
go back
make
to
sure
sleep.
that
We'll see you
before we
tomorrow
play the
maybe.
game,
God's willing.
um,
Subscribe before
the
you leave, Theo.
base of
Okay?
the topics that we're
So I'll
covering
see
is
you
covered. I make sure that they have notes
tomorrow.
in their book that they can reference.
Tomorrow.
Um, and yeah,
All right, so thank you for sharing that, Amika. a lot of things to be able to consider, right? For
Same.
games and to incorporate that. And I know sometimes it takes a lot of time
Same.
to sit well. There are tools out there that can do it very quickly,
Alright,
you know, create a game or create a
let's get to this
quiz in form of a
assignment.
game, etc. Um, but it does take time, right? And once again, managing that process too in the classrooms. Like Sakina, you're saying use Kahoot and Word Wall. That's two, okay, two tools that you use. Ken is saying Jeopardy. All right, great. Any other tools out there? So we have Kahoot. I know there's Wayground, which was formerly quizzes. Can use. There's a tool called Breshna. Don't know if you guys ever heard of it. Breshna is actually I think it's a Pakistani word for lightning. It just really means the quickness of creating something. But you guys can check that out. Actually, last year, let me just declare this. Last year, I did a training on
Master of
use of
Science. You
Breshna.
look good here. Okay.
At that
Already
time, they
subscribed,
had a
lovely.
free
Master of Science.
thing. Now you have to
Risk
pay
it.
for it.
Hi.
And
Let me, before
now
I
you have
even
to
do
pay
that, let me
for it.
look
But it's a
into
very good tool
some master's
that you
program.
can use to create games. Really, really nice.
Let me look.
And yeah,
Because
very,
I'm
very quick as well.
master's.
Okay, so I'm gonna move forward with this. I think this part is good to go. Then what about simulations? Anybody use simulations for your courses, or have you ever used simulation? How
Environmental.
was it for you? What was the experience like? And if you use tools, what type of tools do you use? Yes, I see a hand actually goes. Can you share with us, please?
Yes. So um, I am an XR facilitator, which is extended reality. So I use more of that software in the classroom,
Okay.
especially for the introductory persons who are trying to learn computer science.
Yes.
And what I do is to teach them how to use like a 3D,
Master of Public Policy.
360, 3D immersive
Institutional
environment.
environment.
So they're able to actually, what I encourage them is to take a video of a place.
Hi.
It could be on the campus. It could
Urge
be at a
method.
museum or a library. Then they are able to go in and have hotspots where they can one they actually use the phone to actually have the simulator.
Government I
So
get
leaving
working.
the simulator,
Natural resource
Yes.
manager.
and
Okay.
and when they're walking, they're actually walking in the simulator. Sometimes
Okay.
I have to tell them be careful because you're not using the goggles now under the eyes. You're just using
Yeah.
the
That's
phone.
good,
So they
beautiful lady.
create.
So we're
So
on
allow them to
here
create
in
the
class
environment
doing
and show
research,
them
doing
how
an
to create the
assignment.
environment, and they
So
love
I'm
it.
not watching
And
a
so it's
program.
like
I'm
it's
actually
something
in
that
technology
is
and
like
learning class right
virtual
now.
room,
So yeah,
Yes.
and
that's what we're
it's
doing.
free for them to
I'm
use,
also gonna
and
do an
it allows
assignment
them
and then I'm
to
going to clean my
embrace
nails
the
and I'm going
whole
to polish
immersive
them.
environment
Everything guys,
of
you guys can
virtual
see.
reality.
Just put a little nail
Okay.
hardener on
Nice.
it
So
so
if
it doesn't look
somebody
so rusty
here would
crusty.
like to
I just
use
took
that,
off these
is it a
nails that were
software
on
that
it.
you use to be able to?
It's yes,
Jamaica Speaks.
yes. You just
Hi.
go to you
Welcome
just
guys.
type
Head over to Jamaica
ER,
Speaks and subscribe as well.
XRER,
Let's get her to
then you can go
500
to the
subs.
website, but it then allow you to create the app.
Okay. Okay.
I'll put it in the group of
Yes.
the website that you go straight to.
Okay. Okay. Appreciate that. Because I'm thinking others would love to be able to try that out. And
Of
that,
course.
yeah, I appreciate that so much. And that's what I want to do, ladies and gentlemen. Just share your tools that you would have used, and somebody else would probably want to try it out and just see how it works or for themselves. So I appreciate you sharing that. All right, let me just see in the chat. Oh, the register. Yes, yes. Thank you, Ashin. I appreciate that. All right, so yeah, one of the things once again that we talked about in terms of the simulations, the advantages they're saying here is safety, right? And they're also looking at one more. Okay, so safety, yes. So they're also looking at recreating history. I think I was talking about that. For example, looking at in the Port Royal thing there that I mentioned. Um, they also talk about hands-on, offers opportunity for hands-on experience, and Natalie Rose would have shared as well um, some of her um, some of her exploits, I would call it, using these tools and our students engaging. So we see that these things are true, they're real, right? There could be a time challenge with that. All right, and they're saying questionable presentation. It may not be truly representative of the actual
Where are you
event when
from?
the
Yeah,
simulations and
she's from
artist
Jamaica. I
rendering
am.
rather than the video or photos. Complexity now they're saying may become
Academia.
too complex or intense for classroom setting. Time factor we know already that can, really depend on what we're doing. Right? It can take some time. So, and here's another thing that can take more time to discovering. So, yeah, discovery. Any takers for discovery? How have you used discovery in your class? And what has the experience been like? What are some of the tools? So I see Natalie Rose would have placed inside the chat the link, right, to the tool that she was using or she was talking about. So you can check that out and yeah, see if it works for you. But let me hear from you as it relates to discovery now. Anyone want to share? How have you used discovery in your your classroom? Any takers? All right, so okay, so Maurice, I see your hand. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Art, I'm a teacher of mathematics, so Discover is one of the most powerful ways to get students to understand and to recall certain concepts. So we use investigation a lot, so they can actually develop the concepts from first principles.
Yes.
So even if they forget a formula or a procedure, they can recall the steps they use to discover that concept and then use that to help them to solve problems. So, investigation definitely very, very powerful in that respect.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I kind of remember my days of calculus too. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was amazing when you discover
Why am
something
I
and
breaking
you
out here
figure
and
it
there?
out. Yeah, it's an
I
amazing
never
experience.
break out.
Yes, I see you, Harriet. Yes, keep going.
Okay, and so like so by now everybody is going to know that I'm the agricultural science teacher here, and you want to the students. So we do apply the scientific method as well, and we are planting pak
Policy,
choy, and we would want to know
scientist,
the better
policy.
fertilizer to use, whether you can say you can decide whether you're going to use an organic fertilizer or an inorganic one. One of the experiments that I did was to check to see how one set of pak choy growing with fertilizer and another one say growing with sulfate of ammonia or another kind, and we would do measuring of the width of the leaves. We would weigh the pak choy after the 6 weeks and so on to see which of the fertilizers would give the better outcome. So we have that also.
Okay, absolutely. And yeah, you can see, for the type of subject areas that you mentioned there that those will be very applicable. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Of course, one of the things that they were saying here, apart from the scientific method, is that guidance is necessary and the use of scaffolding is very, very important, right? To be able to lead students to the expected outcome and result. They're mentioning the whole misunderstanding, right? That it can lead to misunderstandings about content area, right? You want to make sure you debrief students after the lesson, right? To ensure that they're on target. All right, so let me just segue into the next one, which is problem solving or problem based learning. Um, yeah. So anyone want to talk about problem solving and how you've utilized that in your
That's such a
classroom? What are
part.
some of the ways in which
Environmental
you
policy and
allow your
management.
students to problem solve? Do you have tools that you utilize, etc.? Anyone want to share with us? So I can talk about my experience as well, looking at even utilizing real world projects to help students to solve different problems. Um, for example, one of my classes, like my database classes, I would, often give scenarios that are realistic. So I may say, okay, maybe the government would like to create a database to do X, Y, and Z. Here are some of the requirements. Here are the objectives. And ask them to create a database that is suitable for the government based on the objectives and the requirements, right? I sometimes, yes, I give them some idiosyncrasies related to, you know, the the project where they still have to problem solve because I give them a scenario and I said this is a problem that the government has. They want to be able to do this or to be able to search for these type of information or to be able to um, ask certain questions of the database, right? How do you design this database so you can get these results, or you can give the government, right, to make important decisions based on accurate information that is stored in a database. So, um, yeah, that's one of the
Bonsoir.
ways that problem solving can be incorporated within your lesson. You can give real world projects with different
Okay,
issues and problems. Sometimes I even ask them, depending on the course I'm teaching, to come up with a problem, right? And then the solution to that problem. And a lot of times, because that's my focus in terms of technology, it is a software or something, right? A software solution or a system or um, that they have to come up with that can solve a particular problem, right? Or address a particular real world um,
I'm
scenario or
here still me
situation,
just listening on the lesson,
right?
just not texting.
And
That's okay.
I
I'm doing a
find that
little
students
research
respond
right now.
very positive
Yeah.
sometimes, especially when it's an authentic
That's
kind of
why.
research. If I say, okay, guys, you'll have to go to the police station to investigate and create a database, that can help them to do X, Y, and Z to be able to solve these crimes or to be able to, whatever it is. So I find that they would rather go or prefer going online to just Google stuff. But when you give them kind of like a real world, yes, problem based kind of a situation where they have to go and investigate, right? It yeah, it allows them, to be able to go beyond just the ordinary way of doing research, so to speak, right? You have to ask questions, even observe, and all these kind of things. So, yeah, that's just my little experience. I don't know if anyone else would like to share before we move forward. So one of the things that they're mentioning is the fact that we have a lot of different materials that we have at our um, disposal, and some of them are free. Okay, some of them are free. So whether we get information from websites or the internet or YouTube, I should say, whether it's videos or video or audio, images, etc. Right? We have all of that. We have productivity tools like Microsoft Office, collaborative tools like Google Docs that we can utilize on others to be able to be productive. Right? We can't find up-to-date information for
Mm-mm.
the materials we need to use.
Hi.
And
Bonne nuit. Good night. Hi,
yeah,
Anthony.
and of course, a lot of these
Some
things
brass
like
full.
saving these
Guys, I'm just
options
trying
too.
to
I
do a little
don't think a lot of us use
research.
those these days. I could be wrong. Right? There are other ways you can get information. A lot of us use cloud storage too. So sometimes it's
Just
still
trying to do a
good.
little research, just like which
A lot of us use self copy, right? Especially in
thing
this online kind of environment.
would be best for
Some of the things that they're
me.
mentioning as it relates to limitations with some of these is that there may be bias or some of the products that we use, there's a lot of ads or uh, advertisements or commercials available, right? And in some cases, you may have limitations in terms of features, especially software that we're trying to get access to, etc. All right, so some of the things that we looked at in this segment was the difference between teacher-centered and student-centered strategies. We looked at a lot of the advantages, limitations of different types of strategies, right? And we talked about the technology media that facilitates a lot of these, and also, of course, the learning environment and some limitations in terms of integrating these free and inexpensive, I should say, materials as well. All right. Of course, our reference: Maldini, Luther, and Russell, Instructional Technology and Media for Learning. All right, guys. So we're gonna segue into our demonstration using Excel. I'm gonna stop this share. I'm gonna put again inside the chat for you
Philosophy.
the attendance in the meantime, for those who have
Not
answered
seeing
me, we can
which
go ahead
one
and do that.
would
I'm
be
gonna
for
share my
me.
file with you, so let me find it first. One moment, let me find my file, and I'll share this file with you. This is a file I'm going to use tonight for my
No.
demonstration. One moment.
Education
It's
for
inside the chat,
sustainable development goal for
so you can check
technicians.
that out. It's an Excel file. I'm gonna just open it and then I will share. All right, so we're looking at Microsoft Excel. Let me share this way. Okay, so looking at Microsoft Excel, right? And yeah, this is just for example purposes. Don't worry, I know you probably thinking, oh, in terms of the different expenses, yeah, it's not realistic in a lot of cases, right? But just for example purposes. Okay, so I'm going to do some formatting here. I'm gonna look at text formatting and numeric formatting. I'm gonna look at some calculations, finding totals and average. And over here, there are two sheets. This is the first one. My
Good
expenses
night,
column
Queen
2025.
of
So
Grace
looking back,
Mercy.
kind of
Protection
reflecting.
forever. Alright,
All right,
Carlton,
so I'm
welcome back. Haven't
calculating.
seen on here in a
So I'm gonna look over
while.
here to
The
expand
note to the phone
these
is
columns.
free. I'm for
My
fatigue.
shopping list.
Je vous remercie de
Okay,
devoir
so what I'm going to do with my
voulu
shopping list, I'm
accepter
going to
mes
look at relative
conseils,
versus
salutations.
absolute self
Merci, ma
referencing.
chérie.
I want
Merci.
to also look at using the if function and some other things, maybe some formatting and all that. Alright, so let me go back to here. First sheet, my expenses for all 2025. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna actually merge and center this. I'm gonna just click from A1. So within Excel, ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that we will see is that we have a lot of columns, right? Or we have columns with the letters of the alphabet. And by the way, if you go right across, like, let me just show you. This actually doubles up in some instances, see? And it goes on and on and on. I don't remember how many columns we have, but we know we have millions of rows. I think it's in the millions now, right? So you can check it out. But yeah, so rows are actually the lines that go across. So while columns are the ones that go down like this, rows are the ones that go across left to right. And the rows are numbered, counting number one to how many millions of rows you have by now. And what happened is that the intersection of a column and a row,
Of public
right,
health.
is
Let's
known as
look
a
at
cell.
these.
So, and how you refer to the cell in terms of the name is like the column heading, that's the A, B, C, D, E, and the row heading, that's the number one, two, three, four. So if I'm at the intersection of column A
And
and
this
row
is
1, that's
um,
A1, cell A1. So
programs
when I
are
say
medical
A1, I simply mean
epidemiology.
that I'm referring to this cell right here, right?
Okay.
Some other things to note,
Fabulous.
maybe I should just go
You okay?
into
How
this
things with you? Things are
before
going
I
well.
share
Have
that
no
outline. Some other
complaints.
things to note.
I
So,
am blessed
so once again, you have rows
and
and function.
highly favored. Let me plug this in right
Yeah,
here.
documents. And also, we're talking about cell and cell address, or cell reference. So the, they use the term interchangeably. And then I'm gonna also maybe use the term range, and range is really a group of cells. So the cell once again is like A1, oops, A1, B1, etc. Right? That's how we refer to the cell or the cells. Right? Essentially, I think what I should do is to put this here because this is really the
Hi.
cell address or the cell reference.
Um,
The cell itself is just the intersection of a row and a column. Now, the range now is a group of cells. So actually, maybe I just leave this here, just A1. Um, if I'm mentioning a group, I can do A1, comma, A2, comma, A3. This is a group of cells. This is three or more, or this is
it
actually
feels so
three
nice
cells.
here.
So that's
Yeah,
actually a
it's
group
been a
of
while
cells.
since you've been on
But
here,
actually, if I have a million
but
cells that I want to
nice to
refer to,
have you back.
right, then I wouldn't do it like that because that's going to take forever. That's a common notation. But I could
And
use a colon
environmental
notation.
okay.
Simply just put the first cell address in that range, colon, and then the last cell address in that range, and that's a group of cells. Alright? I think that makes more sense. We can also look at what is a formula and what is a
2 years.
function. My spelling. Here we go. What is a function? A formula simply is made up of cell addresses. This is a cell
Where are
address in
you
the sense
from?
it's made
I'm
up of cell
from Jamaica.
addresses. It's made up of arithmetic um, arithmetic
Doctor of
operators,
philosophy.
and it's made up of numeric values or numbers. All right. So a formula could be 1 plus 1 or 1 plus 2. It could be anything really. Um, that any calculations
Well,
that you want to perform. All right. The thing is, a function now, before we go back to the formula, I'll show you two
Counseling
examples.
psychology.
The thing with functions is that functions are predefined, pre-packaged, and they say there are different functions that exist like sum, right, average, etc., min, max,
See,
and all of that.
this is
All
so
right. So these are prepackaged for you, meaning that you don't
expensive
need to
arts
use like the
in
operators that I just
education.
looked. You could also do this, by the way. The operators that I just used a while ago, all right, that plus sign here. When you're using functions, you don't need to use those again because the function,
One
it's
year
like
and
a
6 months.
manual kind of a transmission for your car versus automatic, right? So with automatic, it does the it does the changing of gears for you, so you don't need to worry about manually doing that. Okay, so that's pretty
Okay,
much
let me
what
get
it
that
is.
already.
All right. So actually, we have what we call the name box here. The name box always shows the active cell. And so let me just add
Master
some more
scientist
terms. So we have
biology.
name box. These are just Excel terms. We have name box, formula bar, wait, formula bar. Come back here. Let's see. Formula bar. Okay, formula bar. And oh, I was mentioning the active cell. I'm gonna look also at the I want to look at the fill handle as well. And
Biochemistry,
we'll
molecular
call the
biology,
autofill
microbiology,
feature.
genetics.
There's a lot of auto features. What is the autofill
Mm,
feature? Okay. So the active cell is just a cell that is currently being used, etc. Being that's currently active, and the
microbiology.
name box always shows the active cell. Then we have over here the formula bar, which you can use it to edit your formulas or to just enter your formulas, etc. The f of x symbol, wherever you see that, it means you can insert a function there, and you can use it to insert many functions. The fill handle is what we use to automatically fill your cells, right, adjacent cells with a formula.
Hello,
And this is what facilitates the autofill feature. You can
hello
do
from the other
different things
side.
really with it, and we're going to see some of those things that we can do
I am.
over here. All right, let me move this over that side. All right, let's go back now.
Alright,
So I'm
let's
going
open the
to
next
highlight
tab.
the range from A1
What
to
do you
F1. So I'm
want?
going to click on A1 here, cell, and just drag just like
Name.
you, yeah, click and drag to highlight from A1 to F1. All right. And then I'm gonna, let me hide this.
Um,
There we go. All right, so then wait, do I have to do this over? Let me see. Yeah, I think so. Okay, it's good. All right, so, and then I can go to the option here for merge and center. You can find it in the alignment grouping, right? In the alignment grouping on the ribbon, the home ribbon. So this is your ribbon right here. This little stretch or strip here is your ribbon. Alright, every menu has this ribbon here, all the menu items. So this is the insert menu. Let's just look at it. So in the home menu, you have font, alignment, number, style, cells, editing, and so on. Right, add-ons, and yeah, Copilot. There we go. Copilot is everywhere. Then in the insert, we have all of these tables, controls, charts. You can insert a lot of things here. All right, draw.
help business.
Yeah, great option for drawing. Page layout, all the different options with margins, orientation, size, and all of that. You can see that there. Formulas, yeah, you guessed it. This is like a lot of formulas, so yeah, you can check that out. FFX symbol is there, auto. We're gonna look at the auto feature because you can do auto sum, auto average, auto everything really. Then there's data. You can do a lot of things like sorting here, what if analysis, forecasting, review, you already know, spelling and all that you can do there. View. Then
Having
there's
to
this automate, you
viewer
can use
policy
different
tweaking.
scripts and more for,
Okay.
yeah, you know, developer options, can do some coding with VB, macros and all that. Anyways, we're not going to do a lot of that, all of that stuff. We just wanted to see what is there. So now we're going to jump here once again back to home sweet home in the alignment grouping on the ribbon. So I'm going to click on merge and center. Oops, let's do that again. Click on merge and center and it will know what merge and
Hello,
center
what are you up
does.
to? So I'm in
It
class getting
merges
some work
more
done.
than one cell, like multiple
Happy
cells, into
night.
one big
Be
cell.
again,
Okay,
thank you,
so it
Kazir.
makes it one cell
What the
instead
hell's
of,
going on over
how many
there?
was it, six?
Do you think
And
oats
so if you
could
go
be
here, if you go to
paranormal?
the name
I
box, you
don't know.
realize you have
What do
to
you
click
think?
on it. Let me just see.
Do you think they could
It
be,
says
and why?
anyone, and it's
If
all
you
of
say
this.
yes, why
All right,
yes? If
so
you
this
say
is
no,
pretty
why no?
interesting. The next thing I wanted to do was to apply all borders. So I'm gonna click on A1, which is now a big cell, and I'm gonna drag or highlight from A1 to F. Let me tell you, F9. So A1 to F9, okay, and then go to the option for borders in the font grouping
Owls
on
are
the
not
ribbon, in the
what
home
they
ribbon, I should
seem.
say. All right.
Really, why would you say
I
that?
click on the drop down arrow by
You
the
just hurt the
right,
owl's feelings.
and then I go to all borders.
Why would you say
All right.
that?
What that does is just to border all my cells. So now I can move forward. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply. I'm gonna go to cell styles here in the styles grouping on the home ribbon. And then I see a number of different styles. Guys, you can apply different styles depending on what you're doing. In this case, I want to apply a title style, okay? So I'm gonna click on title, and that's it. So it's much bigger and better. And I'll come back to this. But let's look at this now. I'm gonna apply. I'm gonna use the fill handle here, guys. Watch this. The fill handle can be found bottom right of the cell, okay, that right hand corner. You have to have pinpoint accuracy when you're doing this because there are several different, look, so by default you have this white plus sign, right? That's not what I want to have. And if you go to the edge or the border of your cell that you have here, this is B2, then you realize there's a
Get
four-way arrow.
involved.
That's actually the move tool or select tool. If I just click here and drag it down here, so notice it moves my content. That's not what I want to do. So Control Z, undo. Bottom right, there's a little box there actually. Pinpoint accuracy. As a matter of fact, let me zoom in a little bit here, and then I'm gonna have to zoom back out so you can see what I'm saying. So it's a little
Leadership and
tiny
administration.
square actually. It's not a dot, it's like a square really.
Hmm.
And you move the mouse pointer over that, you realize that this gives you the black point, like a black cross or something, or a plus sign. So that's what we're looking for, okay? I'm gonna zoom out and then, yeah, let's zoom out a little bit more. Okay,
Mm,
good.
ever had
Let
any
me see if I
experiences
can
with
find
owls?
to
No, I
zoom out
think
a
I've
little bit
only
more.
seen
Good.
one like
All right, good.
twice
So
in
I'm
my
gonna
life.
just click on this bottom right.
So
I'm gonna
I just
drag it
saw
over to
it
the other cell
being
once
there,
again.
to be
It's
honest,
gonna
but
automatically fill the other
that was
cells
it.
with the month
That
that
was
I'm looking
it.
for, okay? So I'm gonna release over in column
Specialized roles,
release. Notice it gives me all the other months.
practices.
So what it is this autofill feature
Mm,
using the fill handle is that you can autofill many different series, the days of the week, the months of the year. If you
teaching
have
and
test 1, test
training.
2, test 3, test 4, test 5,
Okay.
you just simply test
Courses,
1, drag it over, test 2,
teacher
test 3, test 4,
trainer.
test, yeah. So it automatically create a series for you, okay? So that's what we just did.
Mona
What I'm going to do
Michael,
now
it's
is I'm going to
you.
highlight from A2 all the way
Let's
over
see.
to F number 2.
So,
Then I'm going to go back to Home Sweet Home, Cell Styles, and then I'm going to apply heading number uh, maybe 2. All right, yeah,
so
number 2.
we're
There
doing
we
an
go.
in-depth
Cell style
research
heading
right
2.
now.
Good. Now
Let's see
I'm
what
going
comes up.
to look at some of the things we have here and what we're trying to calculate, okay? So we have expenses. Now, there are two totals, ladies and gentlemen, the total in column F and the total in column 8, and in row 8, sorry. Who can tell me, who can tell me what are we, what's the difference between the totals in total values that we're going to
duration
calculate
18
here
months.
in row 8 and the total values that we're going to calculate here in
Person
column F?
encryption
What is the difference between these two totals? Anybody?
adult
All right, so Simone, yes.
mode of delivery
I see your hand.
fully
All right.
online.
So the totals that you'll be telling in
Yeah.
column F would be you'll be totaling the expense, the like the utilities, transport, rent, and food. So the total
Secondary
food, the total
education.
utilities, the total transport.
Mm,
Um,
technology.
when you the total in what's that? Row A would be the monthly totals.
Oh
Okay,
my
okay.
god.
All right, so in other words, I appreciate that, Simone. In other
Why
words,
the
what Simone is
fuck
saying is that
is
the
this
totals
busy?
in column F, let me move this out of the way. The totals in column F here would reflect the total for each expense, right? The total for each expense, while the total in row 8 will represent the total expenses, all of these total expenses for each month, right? So I just want to be clear so that we're interpreting the data the
1 year
correct
and
way or
6
the
months.
way we intended it, but that's essentially it. All right, so Sakina is saying total for the month. The other is overall expenses. Okay. All right, so appreciate that. So now that we're good to go with that, let's do the calculation. So I'm going to show you different ways that we can do this based on what we just talked about, and then we'll move on from there. So I'm going to hide this controls. Okay. All right, guys, so I can go ahead and calculate. So I could do this using the sum function, okay? We could do it the other way manually, by saying B1, like I could say equal, oh, by the way, in Excel, when you're calculating, right, anything, you have to put the equal sign first.
What?
The equal sign, usually in math, you would have maybe x plus y equal something, right? 20 or 10 or whatever. But in this case, the equal sign is always first. So that's the first rule. All right, just try to remember that. If you don't put equal sign, you're gonna have some errors. All right, so equal sign first. What I'm saying is that I could go ahead and say B, right? This is what B3. And one of the things I like about Excel is that notice it highlights the actual um, cell address or cell reference that you're basically referring to. So it could be B3 plus what? C3? C3 plus, D3. Notice it's highlighting, Okay. I want you to notice that. D3 plus E3. I could do that and it would give other values. Oh, I already formatted this. I'm going to format everything. But yeah, it will give me the value. So I'm going to undo because that's just going to take too long. Uh, let's use the sum function, okay? So I'm going to say equal sum and then open bracket. And what I can do, I can click here from B3, drag all the way over to E3 as well, close brackets, and there we go. Automatically, it enters the range of the values that we're working with, right? The group of cells, okay? So now I can press enter because actually one of the things I should mention here is that uh, the logical layout, the syntax, the way you actually do this thing is equal sign first, followed by the name of the function you're using, then open bracket, then the range, okay, of cells, and then the close bracket. That's actually a formality that you'll see throughout. So I press enter. Yes, press enter to get the answer, and there we go. All right. Now I can use the fill handle to actually copy the formula down, and I want to show you how to do that. Again, we're using the fill handle bottom right of the cell. Click and drag all the way down, and now notice that it fills all the values that are there. And if you just check here, you'll realize this is actually what we call, oops, sorry, I'm trying to press escape to get this off. But this is what we call relative cell addressing. We're going to look at that in my shopping list shortly, and as opposed to absolute cell referencing. So we'll look at that. All right. So here now, I'm going to find let's go over here. Zoom out a little bit so you can see that. And I'm going to find the totals here, okay? So let's see now. I want to find the total for each month. So I'm going to use the auto sum feature, which is right here, editing section home, sweet home once again. Click on the arrow that drops down. Yes, click on sum, and notice what will happen. So I highlighted from B8, by the way, to E8, because this is where I want to put the values, right, for the total expenses for each month. So I'm going to click on sum here after highlighting all of that range, and look at what happens. Look at what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, you can verify just to make sure if I do this, the range. Actually,
Okay.
it's highlighting one cell that is empty. So this is actually something you want to try to avoid, right? Having an empty cell or it not picking up exactly the actual, you know, the actual range. And you may say, oh, that's because the space is here. Sometimes it's good to have a space when you're, working, instead of having everything jumbled up. The point is that the 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 um, the tool is not as smart to be able to pick up exactly what you want. And so I'm going to show you this in this example what I'm talking about. Let's say, for example, I want to find the average for all of these specific expenses here. Okay, the average expense for each month. All right. Okay. So I'm going to highlight just as I did before, but in this case in row 9, from B9 to E9. All right. And then I'm going to go back here to sum, and then I'll find average, auto average. Click on this and look at what will happen now. All right, let me check the range and see. So don't panic if something looks weird. Just check it out. What's the range that is working with? Double click. Oh, it's just picking up. It's just picking up back the total. So obviously, it's average knows what it's supposed to do. There are two steps in finding the average, right? You find the total of the number of items you're working with, right? And then after that, right, you divide that by the total amount. So it's right because it found the value, this one value, and it's dividing it by one, so it's going to get back the same thing that we have there. All right, so what we need to do is to correct the range. So I'm going to say this is actually from B3, all right, see, B3 colon B6. So B3 to B6, that's the correct. So if I put that in here, it will give me the correct value. Yeah, this look more like the average. So I'm going to use the fill handle now to copy this across. All right, to make sure I get the correct thing. Here we go. Yeah, looks better. All right, so what we're going to do now is to format all of these as currency. So I'm going to highlight from B3 to F9. Some of them are already formatted, but I didn't remember to remove that format. But then I'm going to go here, the numbers group, and then I'm going to click on that, and then not number, but currency. I'm going to click on currency, okay? Once I do that, everything is formatted as currency, right? All right, so I'm going to create a chart. I forgot about mentioning that. I'm going to create a chart based on the data that we have here. So, and this is another thing too that's very interesting. Anyways, I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to start based based on expenses, like all of these expenses, right? Because I could choose to create a chart only from, I mean, using these totals over here in column F, or this total here in row 8, or the average or whatever. I could choose or refuse exactly what specific data I want on the chart. Now I'm gonna highlight from A2 to E6, and then let me hide these again. All right, do I need to redo that? Okay, good. So let's go to insert, and then I'm gonna choose. Sorry, I'm gonna choose 3D clustered chart here,
Key aspect
or
of
3D
medical
clustered column.
opinion.
There are many charts you can once again create, and it depends on there's line chart, there are graph charts, see them here, right? All different kind of charts, scatter, etc. So once again, it depends on what exactly you're trying to convey and the most appropriate one. Notice it says 3D1, compare values across few categories. So I know this is comparative, so I'm going to use it. All right, so I'm going to click on that, and what you can see here,
What is your
right, is that it's
age?
showing, it's showing
I'm
the different,
23.
see, the different months and the different expenses, right? So it's like a comparative analysis. So I'm gonna just change the chart title here. I'm just
Guys,
gonna
if you're new
call
here,
it
ensure to subscribe.
my
Yeah,
expenses.
um,
Okay, my
I'm gonna
expenses
eyes them
for
kind of locked
fall
down.
2025. I'm gonna close this.
45 minutes remain. Hello, my dear friend. How are
You
you
can put
today?
this
I'm doing
underneath
fine.
the
How are you
data. I
doing
can
today?
resize it a little bit there.
Let me.
Bit small. And put it under the data if I want to,
And
or
call my name.
work with me here.
And call my name.
Yeah, I'll just do it that way.
In the sky.
All right.
In the sky.
Yeah, what I was saying is that if I wanted to, I could also create the chart from the totals here, but I'll have to like hold down the. Let me show you. So I'm gonna highlight from A2 all the way over to A6, right? And then I'm gonna hold down the Control key, and I'm gonna highlight from F2 all the way down to F6. So that's how you highlight non-adjacent columns or cells. Then I go back to I go to insert, right? Then I can go to chart.
End up receiving.
Yes, you could do a
Hello, one
custom column if you
at
want to,
a.
or some other type of chart.
Mm?
So there are many options,
Mm-hmm.
3D, etc. All right,
Ended
but
up
let me just notice in this case I'm just seeing the totals, because the totals is what I wanted. And the good thing I like about this too is that it shows you whatever data you
challenged
use to create a chart.
student.
Okay, once the chart is highlighted or selected,
Shows.
it will share that information with you. All right. All right. So I'm gonna move on to the next one because there's just a lot of things I have to do there. Let me go over to my shopping list. Okay, in my shopping list we have, yeah, a list of items. Okay, I know for some of you, oh boy, let me just change this. I just realized, this is meat is not allowed on campus. So there we go, mock chicken. Okay, so there we go, guys. Sorry. So I have flour, sugar, rice, and yeah, mock chicken. All right, let's see. So we are going to calculate. So let's say we want to find the subtotal. Who can tell me what calculation are we going to use for subtotals here? How do we find the subtotal? Give me a calculation that can work with the data that we have right here. Anybody?
Hmm.
Yes,
Hmm.
Simone, I see you. Go ahead, please.
So
I'm not sure.
So you can do like what's that? B5, well, equal sign for the first one. Select B5 times C5.
Oh, so B5, okay, times C5.
C5
In other words, unit price times quantity.
quantity.
I appreciate that. Wonderful. All right, so I did that. So it's B5 times C5. Or we could have just used a product a function and say equal product and then we give the range. But that's fine. Let's keep it simple. So I'm going to press enter here. And
Hi.
oh, I want to center this. So I'm going to just center it. Go into the
Mm.
alignment. And then I'm going to click to drag this down using the arrow to get the name. Okay, guys. So here's the deal. Another question for you. Okay, so we're pretending, just keeping it simple. We have GCT. By the way, yeah. Well, I'm gonna put the GCT amount. I mean, percentage here first. So something that we remembered. Let me just mention this. We're using 10%, right? 10%, just for simplicity. I know GCT is probably
What's
not 10
going on?
or is not 10%.
We're
Okay.
here
So 10%
trying
is
to get
equal to or can be represented
some work
as
done.
10 out of 100, which can be represented as 1 out of 10, which can be
This movie
represented as
highlights.
zero point 0.1. And so I'm going to use zero point 0.1 here in cell B2. I want
So
you to
this
see
movie
where I'm coming
highlights the
from.
journey
That's
of
why
an
I did
engineer
all of
who
that.
never
So
get a
0.
job but ended.
Point 0.1, and then I'm going to
Um,
apply, going back to
Betty.
the numbers section here, or grouping, alright, and I'm going to apply
Time
percentage to that, alright,
between
and it
them.
gives you 10%, that's 10.00, but if you remove the zeros, decimal places, by using the
Thank you
decrease
for
decimal
subbing.
place,
Assignment
that'll put 10
class. I'm
zeros,
doing
so
an
that's what's gone.
assignment. Class ends
So
at
what I want to
8:30 and I
ask you
want
is,
to
okay,
submit this
so how do
assignment
I get the
also at
GCT
8:30.
amount to
So
be applied to
I have
this
40 minutes to
subtotal?
submit
What's
this.
the yeah?
So it shows
How
his
do I
journey
do
from
that?
having a hard
What's the
time
calculation?
getting them settled and being respected.
Tell me how to do it. Oh well, I have to introduce this first, I guess. Um, so I'm gonna apply what we call absolute cell reference to this in this formula, I should say, because we want to apply the same value across a range of values, okay? So I want to apply this 10% to all the items, or should I say the subtotal for all the items that I have on my list: flour, sugar, rice, and milk chicken.
45 minutes.
Alright? So
Mm-hmm.
unlike with this now, remember this is relative
No,
speaking as we go along, see,
39
it
minutes left.
changes, the cell addresses change
So
based on the
only
associated cells or the adjacent cells. So it assumes that, oh, as you copy the formula down, it's going to be based on the adjacent cells. But this one is different because we don't want that 10% to change. It will always be the same and it will be applied to all the items. Because we're pretending, once again, I know it's not that way in reality, right? The government is not that, yeah, bad to go and apply GTT to every single item, right? Anyways, I'll leave that there. But let's go. So equal sign, and how we do this now to make it an absolute cell is we're going to, anybody can tell me first of all, how do we make this cell B2 an absolute cell? What do we do?
Using dollar sign.
Okay, we're going to use the dollar sign. Alright, so dollar sign before the B, dollar sign before the column heading, and dollar sign before the row heading. Right, in this case, 2. Alright, so dollar
thank
sign 1,
you.
dollar sign 2.
And even
Alright, great.
how
So then
I
I can now apply this. I'm going to say
classroom
it's B2 times D5 in this case. I'm going to make it capital. It doesn't have to be, it's not
classroom
case sensitive, okay? It's just like the capital. Alright, so there we go.
having
So I'm going to press enter and we'll see. to this. There you
and
go. All right,
and
notice that's 5
sounds
because 10% of 50,
and
5,
and
just for
sounds
simplicity.
and
I'm going to copy this formula
and
down now, and I want you to
and
see what happens there. Look at that.
and
All right, let's see what happened. Okay, so B2. Okay, it didn't change for the first one. Well, for this one, I should say. But notice that the cell address for subtotal change, right, from D5 to D6, because that's relative cell addressing, but the absolute didn't change. It's still B2 that is referencing, right? Now, I want to show you what will happen if I remove the dollar sign, the $2 signs here. Look at what will happen, guys. I'm going to redo this. I'm going to delete these. See, I removed the dollar sign. So it's B2 times D2. Look at this, guys. Whoa, look
what
at
are you
that.
doing?
Ooh, we're getting some word
So
and
I
some,
am
yeah, things that don't make any sense. See, in this case, it's
working on
actually
assignment. I am in
multiplying
class.
B3, which
I'm
there's
on
nothing
live.
in there in that cell,
Queen of
by
multitasking.
B6, and that's why it gives you a 0
No, we're
here,
not gonna call
because it
anybody
seems
dumb dumb
like,
trimmer.
hey, that's not
So
me. I'm not multiplying
I'm
this
inviting
manually.
you
So
all
it's a
as well.
0.
If you have work to do,
In this case,
assignment to
so let's
do,
do it. This is
any
multiplying a
thing
text
you have to
value
get done, to
times
join
the
me and
correct
let's
value, which
get
doesn't
it
make any sense.
done
That's why it's giving you
together.
that error there.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's multiplying the unit price for flour times the subtotal for mock chicken, which once again doesn't make any sense because all the data here is not mixed up, right? So that's why you're getting those erroneous values. So you want to be careful of that. Like when you really need to use it, then this is one instance where we have to use the whole absolute cell addressing. So I'm going to do that, and then there you go. I'm going to redo it again. Yeah, that's the correct thing. All right. So the total now, what will the total be? Basically subtotal plus GCT amount. And so I can use a sum here, right?
So
I
he's
can just use
working
a
through
sum
an
function,
Excel
sum
spreadsheet, and I
of,
think you have an assignment based on
Sorry.
Excel.
yes,
If I'm not joking, due this
yes,
Oh,
week to but
it's Natalie.
one thing at a
yes.
time, man. One
Yeah.
thing at
Um,
a
I just
time.
want to add to
I'm
what you
just a
just said, sir.
girl.
Since that you're asking for the
I'm
GCT,
tired. I'm just a
GCT,
girl.
yes.
Guys, why are
And
we stuck
instead of
at?
just using
Okay, I apologize. Yeah, we have to be nice to each other.
the
We
absolute
might not always
addressing,
agree, but we have to be nice.
if
Okay?
which you had said before, naming a cell,
Teaching
you could
methodologies are
name that
classroom
cell
management techniques.
GCT
okay.
and
Used.
just apply the
With
word GCT times
children
the
tend to
cell that you
judgment.
want to find. Like um, B B5 type GCT.
Absolutely.
Personal
Yeah,
So you, right, so you don't
hyper
have to really
personal.
uh, worry about applying the absolute address
hmm
for where the GCT is located.
absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Really appreciate it. So there are multiple ways, you can do the same thing as one of my math teachers would say. All right, so I appreciate that insight as well.
No, hold on.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and find a sum here for these two, and then I will show you what we're gonna do with these.
Even there
All right, so what we're gonna do with the if
impact
function now. So I'm gonna use the
the of
if function to
generally.
look at maybe just simple analysis, we want to call it that. Am I overspending?
One thing
What
at a time,
exactly am
even
I
though you're good at
eating too
multitasking.
much
Yeah.
off? So we're pretending,
Yeah.
this is,
With
should
kindness
I say US dollars?
and
Doesn't
actually
have to be, but we're
fear
saying, hey, things are really rough. We
and
can't spend too much money on one item,
item.
right? So let's see. So I'm going to say equal if,
This kindness and actual
right?
kindness
And open
student.
bracket. For the
Hold
if function is a
on.
logical test. So if logical test,
Hold
comma,
on.
value if value false. Alright, and so I'm gonna check this value here. The first one is floor, the total, and that's F5. So I'm gonna say if F5, no, if F5 is greater than, let's say $1,000, keep it simple, comma, then I'm gonna say yes, I'm overspending. So I'm gonna put that in quotation here. So yes, I'm overspending. Otherwise, I'm gonna say no. Or I could say okay, whichever. There we go. Alright. Alright, so let's press enter and see what happened. I guess based on how I did this, probably yes, no would be better because okay sounds like you're saying yes as well. So let me just put no and then there we go. Alright. So but if function guys is a very powerful tool you can utilize in different ways. And so this is just a simplistic kind of a way to do it, but there are more sophisticated way you can utilize it. So I want you guys to, you can explore, right? You can do different things with a lot of these different functions and different things that we looked at today. So you can actually see how that can work for you for different scenarios. Okay. So today we would have looked at your merge and center, looking at your formatting, numeric values, and also cell styles, creating charts using the fill handle, um, and of course looking at the difference between relative and absolute sum referencing here, and the function. So I hope this can help you a little bit to look at some of those things that you're going to be doing in your activity, the practice activity, but also for your own personal preferences as well. All right, so I'm going to put again inside the chat the register, and I think this is where we're going to give you a chance to go ahead and get some practice done on your own. You can catch up on practice activities that you have outstanding as well. All right,
I'm
Grayson,
sorry, I have a question.
yes, go ahead.
As it relates to the class activity with the lesson plan, I don't, I'm not sure if I got the instructions clear, but I think we should just put the prompt into the AI generator tool that you highlighted, and then we see what the Assure model would generate, and then we'd submit just that, similar to what we did with the song or poem.
Yeah, I think for the lesson plan, the co-pilot practice, that's co-pilot practice number one. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
that's pretty much it. Yeah. So you're just going to, and remember, I would have shared with you. I said remember because maybe you don't remember actually, but I would have shared with you the different prompt prompt examples and techniques, etc. I share those files with you, so you can check. Just go through those again. Look at some of those idiosyncrasies related to um, generating your prompts or creating your prompts and generating those outputs, and then you can be guided accordingly. But definitely, that's it. You just simply prompt the tool. In this case, it's Copilot, right? And you have the option to refine it. So if it's not how you want it, or it's not, you can always refine your prompt to get it to where you need it to be. And yeah, you just simply copy that, put it in Word, and submit it for your practice. That's it. All right. All right. So and
Okay.
remember, once again, you do have choices. So you have 15 practice activities and you can choose to do any 10 of your choice. All right. So I hope that answers your question, Grayson.
Oh, that wasn't me, sir. I have another
Oh,
question.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I'm looking at the rubric, project one rubric, and
Yes.
we have section one, two, three going down. In section one, it gives marks for each of the items there, and then it goes to section two, and it gives, I'm thinking the same thing in terms that it says right here, the requirement, create Google Classroom one, one subtopic. That part I understand. But when it comes to where it says required upload content is located in Google, and you give 6 marks there. But then when it goes down to is it that there is a mark for just uploading versus now when you create the items, that's what you're giving marks for down the bottom?
148.
Yep. That's correct.
Oh,
Yes.
all right.
Yes.
Thank you. All right,
You.
thank.
Yeah, because the idea of the Google Classroom is to be able to have the content uploaded there. So I wanted to explicitly ensure that that's something that you're gonna do as well. So yeah, I give mark for that as well. So I hope that makes sense. All right. So
Thank you, sir.
yes, go ahead.
Sorry, it doesn't really make much sense to me. There was another assignment like that too that I didn't really understand what to upload. I don't remember. It was a practice. Do you remember which one of the practice it was where there was the add submission button on Moodle, but then it wasn't anything to upload to Moodle, so I didn't get it. I can't remember. And it's the same thing for this Google Classroom one. What are we supposed to upload to Moodle if
Chart.
Google Classroom is
It
online?
says that you are to create a Microsoft Word. We have discussed that document, and then you put a copy of the link in the Microsoft Word document. Then you upload that Microsoft Word document.
Got it. All right, thank you. That makes sense.
Thank you as well for sharing that again. Appreciate it. All right. So yeah, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your presence and your participation, interaction, and feedback. And looking forward to seeing you again next class, all being well. Just continue to work on your different items or activities, and let me know if you have a challenge. All right, so do take care. Enjoy the rest of your evening. God bless. See you next time.
You too, sir.
Okay, good night, sir.
Night,
Class
everyone.
ended 24 minutes early. So
Recording stopped.
that is next. I still have my 24 minutes to finish this assignment. So I'm gonna work with that. Service love to love Sydney Poitier and um, Ashton, mm, mm. To real my eyes Poitier. I can't live without you. A, B, C. Work with the 24 minutes that you got. That's the plan. That's the plan. That is the plan. I think we can get it done. Let's see if we can get it okay. 20 minutes to go. This movie. This is busy 1967 classic. Classic star by beloved Sydney which acted as Mark Zachary was a engineer who was an engineer that called was hold work being desperate for a job led him to take a teaching Northwood Primary School in London, Northwood School in London, where he is met with a class of challenged students using teachers classified as rejects with their behavior unwillingness, disrespect, to do totally being discarded by the they're discarded by the system that carries first approach was to be teacher centered where he would teach by books, but after but after context antics, he then realized that he needed to treat them as adults who are going out into the world, so the traditional method effective, especially for such a challenged set of students. Such a challenged set of students. resulted in him discarding textbooks and started focus on lessons, social etiquette. So spit in words and open your eyes to enter me hope if they choose themselves a chance of movie he had gained from respect of his students and even staff, but he imparted wisdom whereof the empathy had when he got the job engineer paper the teaching of it help help other students. I am working on this paper that I have to submit. Helping part of it was that when he finally gotten a job in field of an engineer, the lecturers tore up the paper and which directly shows he received. Mm. Effective classroom management. Let's see if we can read this out instead of typing. So instead of relying on physical discipline, which was common at the time, and detention or suspension, even expulsion, Thackeray used disappointment and a measure of moral authority, where he showed his students that having childish behavior wasn't a shock to him, but more than anything, it saddened him, and this forced them to self regulate in order to regain his approval. Full stop. Agree. So in love. Mm. Adult to adult paradigm. This was where he saw the most changed when he abandoned the student teacher hierarchy, but enforced that boys be called by their last name and the girls be addressed as Miss, which demanded a level of formal respect that the student had never received or gained. Full stop. Coming! This is where he saw a shift when he abandoned the student teacher. This was where he pivoted from maths and geography to practical life discussions. He allowed the students to voice their own topics, whether it be about marriage, death, sex, poverty, and work, which turned the classroom into a form of real world preparation for the students. Full stop. One should use education as empowerment and not indoctrination. Comma. Education is the tool that allows students or persons in general to rise above their circumstances, provided that the teacher would see the person who is behind the desk and not just grade on paper or not just troubled students. Full stop. The children's experience proved that when education is made relevant to a student's survival and success, problem students would become eager students, students who are eager to learn, to be better, do better, and showcase themselves in a way that is respectful, in a way that they never thought they would be represented before. Full stop. Hello. Hmm. Thank you. We're almost through with this paper. Mommy, how you feel? Here presented before. see themselves. So, I'm finished. You're from which country? I'm from Jamaica. 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 No. Okay. And I'm through. Let's read through this. Let's read through these. Jamaica.